Hi, I'm Janet. After years of trying to figure out the film industry, making some gains, only to see them dwindling away, I finally got my shit together and I made $85,000 my first year in the film industry in Los Angeles. Creating a career in film does not need to be a struggle. You can start in your city. I want to teach you my process and teach you how to do it. You'll see that you really can live that extraordinary film lifestyle that only the film industry can provide. Let's go.
What's up, you guys? How's it going, friends in film? This is Omar, and today we're going to be talking about the possibilities, how it's possible to be making all of your income in the film industry, in the entertainment industry, doing something that you actually enjoy doing instead of working a boring 9-to-5 or a survival job. And I've been there. I know what it feels like. It sucks. I used to work at in a retail job. I had a bunch of survival jobs. I used to work a retail job that just became monotonous and boring. I did it for like 3 or 4 years. And there was just a point where I was unhappy, where like I was good at the job. I could do it like in my sleep basically. And, you know, like I was spending all of my time folding clothes when I really wanted to be doing something else. I wanted to be doing something creative. Maybe you feel that way too, where you may be stuck at like a dead end job that maybe was only supposed to be temporary. And you know that you're worth so much more. You know that you have so much more to bring to the world. That's how I felt. I felt like I was squandering my creative abilities by spending so much time doing something not aligned with my purpose. And it was soul sucking. It burned me out. It also gave me the motivation to change my life. I was like, I looked around at the people that I was working with, and I'm like, they had been working there longer than I have. And I was staring into my future. I was like, dang, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here for that long. I don't want to, like that wasn't for me. It's scary leaving a secure, safe job in order to do something new and unknown, to step into the unknown. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about if you want to create your reality, if you want to create your actual dream, you're going to have to step into the unknown. You're going to have to become someone that you've never become before if you want to live a life that you've never lived before. And so that's what I had to do. I remember at the time when I was working that retail job, I just wanted to make music and travel the world and just make cool videos. So it was really, what's the word I'm looking for? Impulsive. I impulsively quit that job and was surviving off of credit cards. And like, I'm so grateful for my family and my friends. I was like mooching off my parents for like 6 months or something, mooching off my girlfriend at the time. And it was scary, but I was hustling. I was making videos. I was producing. I was doing stuff. And it was a struggle. It sucked. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend spontaneously quitting your job, even though that's kind of what both Janet and I did. If you don't know, Janet used to work at like Kodak. She used to work a corporate job, a 9-to-5, and she quit. I think she was like 26 or something, and she cashed in her retirement and went to go travel the world. And I mean, I quit my retail job to become a YouTuber. And this was before I knew anything about Friends in Film, before I knew Janet. So that didn't last long, that period in my life where I was surviving off of credit cards. I had to get a second survival job, another survival job. I was an Amazon delivery boy. And also at that time, I was still, like doing my best to make video content, creating my own merch, trying to figure out like a side business, a creative way to make money. And then that's when I got introduced to Janet. My girlfriend was one of the editors here at Friends in Film before I was. And then, so anyways, like they ended up hiring me onto the team, because I was already like making YouTube videos. So it was a good skill. That's what the vectoring that Janet talks about. Sometimes you just have to make a decision and you don't know exactly where it's going to lead you, but you know it'll take you closer to where you want to be. So my decision to become a YouTuber gave me a certain skill set of video editing. And also, you know, all the mindset stuff. I was really working on my mindset, changing the way I thought about myself and the way I rolled throughout the world. And that was all very valuable when I joined Friends in Film. And what next? What happened after that? Then I got exposed to all the cool stuff here, editing all of everything that you watch on Instagram, in the training, in the A-List Mastermind. That I've started to absorb all of that. And that was extra valuable to me. And now here I am now. I'm working in the film industry, in the entertainment industry. I also work in the music industry. I work like half my time on tour as a touring sound tech. I also work in the film industry. I'm a production assistant and I'm moving into the sound mixer craft. I've been like doing the Friends in Film methods, like actually like applying them for about a little over a year. I'd say a year and 6 months. And so like working that retail job that I was talking about before, I was probably making like 19,000 a year. Now, so far this year, we're in November, I probably made like 40K this year. So like more than double, and the year's not even finished from where I started and where I was. That's proof right there that you are able to create and transition from a survival job into something that's more fulfilling. You know, instead of a survival job, it's like the happy job, living job. I don't know. You're not just surviving, you're enjoying life. And that's incredible. Isn't that what we all want? That's that amazing, wonderful life that Janet always talks about. And the main thing that keeps us from stepping into the unknown, from stepping into what we really want to be doing, is fear. It's all this like imaginary stuff. False evidence appearing real. We hallucinate the worst possible scenarios. And that keeps us from actually stepping into whatever we're better aligned with. Like if you feel like you're stuck in a dead end job, you'll feel it. Like I felt it going into work. It's like, I'm not aligned with where I am. I'm so uncomfortable here. I'm so unhappy. This isn't where I'm meant to be. This isn't where I'm going to be thriving to my fullest. You're literally like vibing at a different frequency than your environment. And that discomfort, that dissonance will help you. It'll show you where you're actually supposed to go, where you'll find the right environment for yourself. And so you got to listen to your feelings and listen to your body. If you're not happy with your life, then there's something you got to change. The pain is a message for you to adjust something, to change something. Something has to change in order to live a better life that you are aligned with. And you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm sure you felt it before, like those seasons of life where it's just like everything like clicks, everything just makes sense. Like one thing leads to another and opportunities open up and you're having fun, you're full of energy, you're in the zone. Like life makes sense and it feels magical. These are things to pay attention to. Like, where do you feel your happiest? Where do you feel your most creative, your most energetic? And if you're doing our program, when you start doing the 20 shoots method and actually start getting onto the film sets, that's like what it tunes you into. That's where it shows you not only like how much you enjoy working on set, you also experience like, oh, like I really enjoy like this particular craft. Like I love working in art department, or, you know, like, oh, like I love working in the makeup department. I wanted to be an actor, but I fell in love with makeup, you know, stuff like that. That's where, the things that you begin to tap into. And that's that vectoring that Janet talks about, where you take a step and is maybe not exactly where you want to go, or maybe it is where you wanted to go, but then on the way you start, you find something better that you're even more aligned with, that you could have never realized unless you took that first step. So it is possible to have this lifestyle, to be making your money in the film industry. You know, if you gotta, and this is something that Janet talks about in the program, in the A-List Mastermind. She talks about using your survival job, actually shifting your perspective on it. It's not something that's going to be soul sucking. It's actually going to be a platform for you to step off of and step into your higher self, where you're meant to be on a film set or whatever, like wherever you're meant to be. You use that survival job to help you transition. You use that to invest in your future, you know, because we still got bills to pay. We still got certain responsibilities. I don't have kids, but if you have kids, then you know what that means. Like, you have to, those are your responsibilities that you got to be taken care of. So be smart about it. Don't impulsively quit your job and do it that way. We actually have a system, a strategy, a set of guidelines that will work to help you transition. We show you how to make money when you're on the low budget shoots at first. We show you how to move to a major market. We show you how to become in demand in the film industry and how to slowly phase out your survival job and step full-time into film. By the way, full-time in the film industry is like 10 or 15 days a month. So that's pretty amazing. That's one of the reasons why I chose this lifestyle, is because I got sick of someone else making my own schedule, not knowing when I'm going to be working until like only like 2 weeks in advance or whatever. That sucked. I didn't like it. I wanted more freedom in my life. And the film industry is a freelance industry, so you can literally make your own schedule. If you don't want to work for a month, then you don't have to. If you want to hustle and work every day that month, then you can. That's the beauty of it. You're not subject to someone else telling you how much you're going to get paid or telling you how many hours you're going to work in a week. You're in charge of it. You just have to build it that way, and we show you how to do that. Maybe it's daunting to you because you've never done anything like this before. You've never worked as a freelance. You've always had that secure, steady paycheck. It's, it can be scary to leave that certainty, to leave that safety net. But it feels so much better, at least for me and probably for you, if any of this resonates with you, if you're creative like me, that like you get paid for how hard you hustle, for how hard you hit it. So that's the pattern that I've found, and I'm so much more happy. I'm so much happier that way, like working on a production for like 2 weeks and then taking 2 weeks off because I can afford to, because I have the time. And I've been able to like experience so many things that I wasn't able to last year. Like I've gone on so many more hiking trips this year because I could. I've gone like camping a bunch because like I'll work on, I'll do like a concert tour for a week. We went to Florida, and then I took like a week off and just did whatever I wanted to do for that whole week. And then the next week I worked on a film set, and then I worked again on a couple concerts. So, this is the life that I'm designing, and you can design your life however you want to. Or maybe you're worried, like you don't know how to get started. Maybe you do believe in yourself and you know that you're meant for more, but you just don't know. You have no idea what first step to take. And, that's normal. We have this giant dream, this giant fantasy that we know is real. We can visualize it. We can feel it. We can taste it. But it can be daunting because it seems like such a big change from where you are now versus where you want to be. The way we overcome that is by taking that giant vision and breaking it up into smaller, very manageable steps. That you just got to take one step every day. If you take one step towards your dream every day for a month, you're 30 steps closer versus being stuck in a survival job for 30 days and just wishing that you could change your life, like that's not progress, that's just surviving. So that's the flip, that's the change that happens. You can still work your survival job those 30 days, but then those 30 days, every day you take a step, you do one of the modules in our program, you make those phone calls, you do the research, you start doing all the stuff that we teach you, and you feel the shift. You'll definitely feel different 30 days versus the first day. And that's awesome. It's a great feeling. And then I feel it now, a year and a half into, having my decision to work in the film industry, to work in the entertainment industry. I'm a completely different person than I was a year and a half ago. And it's much more fulfilling. And I owe a lot of that to Janet, because she opens our perspective on life and what's possible. So it is possible to be full-time in the film industry, to leave your survival job and to do something that's way more exciting, that actually you feel like your skill set was made for this. Maybe you're an actor and your goal is, to get paid acting, to get paid acting jobs. Or maybe your goal is to be a special effects makeup artist, working on cool sci-fi and horror films. Or maybe you want to be a camera operator for a Netflix show. It's all closer than you think. It's so much closer than you realize. I can tell you because, I'm in the industry, and not that long ago I was not in the industry. You can change your life in less than a year. By the way, I took my time doing the program. I did it really slow. People have done this like 3 months, 6 months, less than half the time that it took me. And you can too. It's possible. You don't have to be a suffering, starving artist working at a Starbucks or waiting tables and like hoping for your big break. Be strategic about your life. Be intentional about this. Don't just be like waiting for the opportunity. Create the opportunity. You can create your opportunities and be prepared for when they happen, because they will happen. So bottom line, you have to listen to yourself. What's going on in your internal world? If you're working a dead-end survival job or something that doesn't fulfill you, that you're not passionate about waking up in the morning and going and making money and going and, spending most of your day, whatever your job is, if you're not passionate about that, that's like, I don't want to live my life like that. At least not the entire part of it. At least not my entire life. It can be a transition. We teach you how to use that as just a transition into the life that you actually want, the one that will actually energize you and that you're made for. If that fantasy excites you, if that goal of working in the film industry excites you, you got to listen to that. You got to pay attention to that. If it makes you happy and if it jogs some ideas like, oh, like I could do this, or like, oh, dang, like this would be a cool thing to shoot. How would we create this particular movie? I don't know. If that is where your mind is going, if that's like where your feelings feel most alive, listen to that, because that's steering you in the right direction of where you're gonna generate all of these good feelings, where you're gonna generate that happy, wonderful life. You have to feel that attraction and take action on it. Don't squander it. Don't let it go to waste. If maybe you've read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, you have to follow the good omens, you have to pay attention to the language of the world. That's those happenings, those things where you meet the person that gives you your next job out of nowhere, or you work your first time on set as a camera operator and actually get paid to do what you would have done for free. That's the universe talking to you. That's your purpose, letting you know like, hey, like, follow me. And that's what you got to listen to. You have to figure out your purpose. And maybe that's, you know, like, doesn't have to be this giant big thing that's intimidating. It's just finding a goal and taking actions towards that goal, actually committing to live a better life. Because it's a decision to live a happy, fulfilling life. It doesn't just happen. It's very intentional. You have to be true to yourself, you know, like you have to listen to that cliche. So I'll wrap it up now. It's possible to make all of your income in the film industry. I'm doing it. Janet's doing it. All of our A-listers are doing it. People have been working in the film industry for so many years. It's very alive. There are ways to make this your career, and we teach you how to do it. We teach you how to not only get in this industry, but be in demand, to choose the jobs that you want to work on, to move into the craft that you want to work on. Maybe you want a career where you're traveling the world, or you know, you get paid to travel. That happened to me. That was one of my goals that I can check off my bucket list. I'm getting paid to travel America. Hotels paid for, flights paid for, meals paid for, and on top of that, I'm getting paid for my labor. So, you know, that's something new that I've experienced this past year. I've traveled all over America, working with rock stars and gypsy dancers, and it's been so freaking magical. I wouldn't have been able to do that, to be in demand like that, to keep getting hired back, if it wasn't for what I've learned in Friends in Film, the get it factor, knowing how to have that go-getter attitude, and knowing how to come across as professional and not overwhelming, or also how to come across as professional and not squandering the opportunity, because working in the entertainment industry is a privilege. Like, people, I mean, you know, a bunch of people want to work in the entertainment industry, but not everybody does. Maybe you don't know how. Well, we'll teach you how. Or maybe you're afraid to actually commit to doing it. We teach you how to overcome fears. You have to step into the fear. Realize that it's just a hallucination in your mind, and you actually control it. You have so much more control over your thoughts and feelings than you realize. The same way how it's possible to generate this weird anxiety of like, oh, like I'm going to try and work in the film industry and it's not going to work out. I'm going to get rejected or whatever. You can also generate like, oh, like what if everything works out? What if everything worked better than planned? What if I do this strategy and I become successful? What if I do this proven method and I actually end up working in this career, you know, and actually becoming the person that you're supposed to be? I would rather be driven by that than by a fear of it not working out. Wouldn't you? Anyway, guys, I hope that was fruitful for you in some way. Maybe I shifted some kind of belief or whatever. That's an awkward way to end this. Thanks for listening. We believe in you. You can do it. It's possible. It's possible.
Thanks for listening today. And if you have a moment, could you please leave me a review? I would love that. And make sure you head over to friendsandfilm.com/join and sign up for my free mini course on what you need to know to find opportunities and start making film and acting work come to you. I'll see you next week.